crying to see my daughter, and all of the usual suspects, the handlers, Dave Chappelle, Meek Mills, Diddy, they got to call and put a leash on him.
Now, I don't know how many of you guys have been keeping up with Kanye West, but he recently just dropped a new album. And I'll be the first person to say, I genuinely believe that the album is trash. The songs are absolute dirt. But this is not a video to sit here and criticize his album. It's to point out everything that's been going on to promote his album. Because I genuinely believe that Kanye West just made the biggest sacrifice of his career, bro. Now, we all know that in recent videos, he has exposed his mom, his own mother, being considered a sacrifice for the success that he has had in the music industry. And I believe that he made videos foreshadowing what was going to happen and what has happened recently. Because if you just take a look at his daughter, aside from the fact that she's posted up with the Diddy Bop gang, I don't even know what they're supposed to be dressed up as. The Powerpuff Girls. I really don't even know. But Kim Kardashian has really been using North West as a pawn, as a sacrifice for their benefit of their career. This is, I don't know if I could say her age on the video, but just look up how old this girl is, bro. Like, they're using their daughter as a pawn, as an instrument to success, or an instrument to excel their careers. Now, the part that really caught me for a loop is when I came across this video right here on Instagram. North West performing in front of the Freemason symbol. This was the first cue that made me realize that they sold her, bro. She sold out. They have been using her as a piece to their puzzle. Because aside from everything else that Kim Kardashian has done, aside from everything else that Kanye West has done, now we see their daughter. And this is the only one of their kids that we see this with. I want you to be mindful of that as well. We see her daughter participating at a concert with a cross in the background with a Freemason symbol as well. And we all know the influence that the Freemasons actually have. And Kanye West speaks about it time and time and time again, to a point where he even asks himself, I don't even know how I'm still alive, bro. So he's consciously aware of what's going on. He's even made videos of him saying that he doesn't want his daughter to be with Kim Kardashian because he's scared that this is going to happen. And yet, it's still happening. But check this out real quick, yeah.
So I'll be surprised that I'm still alive. I want your acknowledgement. And I went so far past any level of acknowledgement. I was banished, I was exiled, I was canceled multiple times. So what, I done had like my kids that show up to Sunday service right in front of everybody. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm crying to see my daughter, and all of the usual suspects, the handlers, Dave Chappelle, Meek Mills, Diddy, all these people aren't in position. Now, for us as celebrities, they got to call and put a leash on them. What we gonna do with Ye? Oh, he delusional, that's the best. Dave, give him a call. Diddy, give him a call. Tell him we ain't like the t-shirt. Tell him, like, right now the agenda is, this is the voting agenda for the celebrities, for the black. Make them do exactly what LeBron would do. Make them do exactly what Drake would do. And y'all know my stance on this. I want to say something about the number one. What's so good is the fuck you of it. And for everybody and the people at the end of the day. But even with the streams, it's like, on one end you be like, it's like, stay away from the lie, because, oh, we're number one. We had streams. How many niggas went number one and never made $1 billion? Mm-hmm. Drake still ain't made $1 billion. Mm-hmm. This is as big as our Bad Bunny. They not gonna set that man Bad Bunny up to make $1 billion. They gonna give him the same pack that they gave Drake. That loose.
And that's cap. They actually set Bad Bunny up. As soon as Bad Bunny decided to start kissing men on stage, they gave him a bill. They said, you got to act like this to get this. They turned him by and then gave him $1 billion. It's the game that they play. It's the game that they play, bro.
Impact, whatever it is.
Wicked.
Everybody, and everybody that does music, maybe this is not a outside, but anyone in the music industry knows that Drake and Bad Bunny got that same, you know, that loose, that push. We're going to push this radio. We're going to push this. We're going to push that. And that pack was removed from me, you know, ever since the Taylor Swift thing. So to hit this number one is such a fuck you, and people need to understand how.
Every single month, I work with a small group of people, helping them establish their first automated online income. Now, if you're someone who's interested in making an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a month, then I want you to take a look at the link down below. You'll be able to see exactly how my students are able to make money from their phone, and even take a look at some of the success stories from students who I am currently working with. Now, obviously, spots are limited and reserved for people who are serious about establishing an automated online income. And so if that sounds like you, then submit an application, book your one-on-one call, and I'll be looking forward to speaking with you. But let's get back to this video. There is a reason why I still have a little bit of respect for him, because he is the same person who is willing to hop on a podcast like this and name names. He's done it on so many different occasions. On the Drink Champs interview, I actually released so much information that the Drink Champs interview got deleted. On Joe Rogan podcast, on this podcast, he has been on so many platforms exposing people, elites, exposing record label executives, exposing artists, exposing people by name. And I can respect that, because to me, that shows someone who is a firm believer in what he believes in. Don't know what he believes in. Man is so wishy-washy. He created a Sunday service to worship Jesus, and yet he invited a Satanist. He could be a sheep in wolves' clothing. I talk to you guys about that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Trying to enter the dark rooms in order to preach the gospel, in order to share the light. There are so many wolves in sheep's clothing that penetrate holy areas, or penetrate families, penetrate peace to spread evil. We should start doing the same thing and opposite. Start being the sheep in the wolves' clothing, going to the, I'm gonna start going to the strip club and saving the strippers. Hand up in the air praying for them. You get what I'm saying? It gets to a point. But in this video right here, we have Ye just paid a questionable price for his comeback in 2026.
Kanye warned us that Northwest was at risk, and back then, most people ignored him. But looking at the events of 2026, his predictions are unfolding with clinical precision. North has recently debuted a look that has the internet calling her unrecognizable, as she takes her place as the face of the next generation of Kardashians. But it was her recent appearance on stage at the Skywater concert that changed everything. While most people were focused on her outfit, I was looking at the symbol positioned directly behind her. This appearance happened just days after Kanye's massive US stadium return was officially confirmed. After years of being sidelined, he is suddenly back in the center of the industry. Is this a coincidence, or are we witnessing the specific terms of a new alignment? Today, we're looking at why these two incidents are inseparable and what this symbol tells us about everything. Just a few days ago, this footage of Northwest dancing on stage with the artist Skywater went viral. While her look drew most of the attention, everyone missed a defining detail. The symbol positioned directly behind her the whole time. I don't even need to name it. You already know what this imagery represents. The moment I saw this, I instantly connected it to Kanye's warning and his recent scheduled comeback. And I knew something was unfolding. It turns out North was invited on stage by Skywater during a performance in Philly. While many believe she is way too young for this environment, that's not the real story here. When I researched Skywater, I found he repeatedly uses this imagery throughout his work. I checked his official site, and again, you see the symbol there too. Clearly, he is signaling an affiliation with the structures that manage the industry. What's telling is that this artist
Tattoos say a lot, y'all. Tattoos say a lot.
is signed to a label under Universal Music Group, one of the biggest conglomerates in the world. And it just so happens to be the exact same label Kanye was once bound to. This got me thinking, isn't it strange that right as Kanye is set to make a comeback, North is popping up with artists showing they're a part of the system? Just 11 days before this video, Kanye officially announced his massive performance at SoFi Stadium in LA. Now North is literally standing in front of the signature logo of the system he spent years exposing. We all know everything in this industry is a calculated move. North wouldn't be positioned in front of that symbol if they didn't intend for it to be seen. They placed her there to send a precise message. I believe all of this connects back to Kanye's return. His history with the industry regarding his children stems from his personal conflict with the system. While many still think he lost his composure and started calling out the labels for no reason, what actually took place was far more strategic. In 2020, Kanye realized he was trapped in a restrictive record contract. He discovered the labels held all his rights, and he was blocked from purchasing them back. In September 2020, he launched a massive public campaign against Universal Music Group and Sony, the two major conglomerates he claimed were controlling artists. When they refused to return his rights, he took drastic measures. This is why Kanye began making moves to dismantle his public standing. He intentionally sought to be sidelined so he could be released from his label. His plan worked, and he was finally dropped from the label. But it was a double-edged sword because he also ruined his career in the process. During the height of this conflict in 2022 is when his warnings about North began. Kanye made it absolutely clear that he did not want his daughter positioned within the industry. Around this time, he claimed Kim was attempting to mold North. He believed she was pushing North into the spotlight for her own agenda. He was deeply concerned about his daughter's presence on TikTok after her videos went viral. Seeing this, he expressed his frustrations on X. Tell her don't have my daughter wearing lipstick on TikTok and don't have her on TikTok at all if I don't approve that. Kanye also stated, I feel like there's some poking the bear trying to create this unstable narrative because to say someone is unstable, they're trying to take the power away and get people to ignore them.
I just look at my daughter full makeup, singing She's in Love with an emo girl on TikTok, and I didn't have no say, no approval. Hey, what do you think? Do you think this would be cool or not?
Kanye felt Kim was accelerating North's entry into the industry prematurely. He believed the industry was positioning his daughter as the next focus. He didn't want her transformed into another brand or industry figure. So, Kanye challenged Kim's role, suggesting she was brokering North's entry to the system, stating that's exactly what their legacy is built on. This is when Kanye started accusing certain individuals and massive corporations of working to bypass his parental oversight. He believed they were trying to normalize her industry presence without his approval so they wouldn't need his consent for her professional representation. Kanye felt that because he escaped the system and exposed its inner workings, they were retaliating by shifting his relationship with his children. This is why he repeatedly spoke about them trying to distance him from his family. As time passed, we started seeing the pattern Kanye was referring to. North began appearing in aesthetic choices that felt far beyond her years. She started collaborating on social media with figures who many considered questionable influences. The moment everything shifted was last year, when her image took a drastic turn towards a more industry-centric look. It was clear she was being aligned with a specific legacy. This made Kanye vocal, and he didn't hold back. He suggested that North was being directed into the same path her mother was forced into. The more Kanye challenged this, the more he was sidelined by the industry, to the point where a US return seemed nearly impossible. By 2025, Kanye's music career looked uncertain. His chances of a major comeback seemed to have vanished, but towards the end of the year, we saw a noticeable shift in his stance towards the industry. It all began after he met with representatives to address his prior controversial statements. At that moment, fans were confused. He had looked like he wasn't backing down just a week before, but now all of a sudden, he was ready to reconcile. No one knew what to make of it, but soon, the timeline started making sense. After apologizing, Kanye disappeared only to reappear in January 2026 with a highly calculated move. He published a full-page, 750-word letter titled "To Those I've Hurt" in the Wall Street Journal. It is important to note this wasn't a casual apology. This was a corporate alignment statement. If Kanye wanted his core fans to know he was sorry, he would have tweeted it directly. But this apology wasn't for the audience, it was for the structure. This letter only surfaced after Kanye had reportedly secured his new partnership with Gamma Records. This suggests the apology was a requirement for his return to the center of the industry. Clearly, Kanye was mending the institutional relationships he once fought.
It'd be those little terms and conditions. We're gonna need you to write a formal letter apologizing to all the only way there's gonna be one clause in the contract that states you're gonna have to write a formal letter excusing yourself from all the. It's always that one part of the contract. I saw an artist say that there was a part of his contract that he was not allowed to use the word Jesus Christ in his music. That is a crazy clause to put into a contract, bro. Crazy.
Now, this is where the connection gets deep. Kanye wasn't the only one who joined this new platform. His daughter, North West, also secured a deal with the same company. Now, isn't that a coincidence? Gamma is currently led by Larry Jackson, who was a high-level executive at Universal Music Group, the very conglomerate Kanye went to war with for
UMG.
years. Now, not only is he partnered with a former UMG executive, but his daughter is as well. Suddenly, Kanye is fully supportive of North's digital presence and is even directly involved in the rollout of her recent music. Think about the fact that Kanye spent years trying to shield his daughter from this environment. Now, he's the one facilitating her entry into the system. He is officially making his comeback while his daughter is positioned directly in front of their signature symbol. To me, the picture is clear. Kanye decided to align with the new terms of the game. North's entry into the industry was a primary requirement for this return. These two events are not random. The fact that they are both partnered with the same label proves this is all calculated. Like I mentioned earlier, Skywater is signed to a label under the UMG umbrella as well. North is signed to a former high-level UMG executive. Her team likely facilitated the connection between the two. That is how she ended up on that stage with that symbol behind her. The message behind this was clear. The structure officially won. Not only did they bring Kanye back into the fold, but they also secured the next generation of the West and Kardashian legacy. Unsurprisingly, this time Kanye did not speak out against his daughter being in these environments. Before, he would have likely been the first person to vent on social media. But today, he has nothing to say. I think it's not just because of his new deal, but because the original stance was a strategic maneuver. North's entry into that world was almost inevitable. She is the daughter of two of the biggest figures in the industry. I believe Kanye simply did not want the system to control her before he could secure his own position. Kanye has been integrating North into the music scene for the last few years himself. He also placed her in adult environments when he invited her to his own events. Clearly, Kanye was comfortable with her being in the spotlight. He was looking for leverage to use against the conglomerates. Now that he's back in their good graces, he has no issues with the arrangement. In fact, it looks like he's the one who finalized the deal. Just like he convinced the world that his conflict with his labels was about corruption, when in reality he simply wanted out of his contract, his issue with North's online presence might have been as simple as him not being the one to profit from it. Kanye knows exactly how to get his fans on his side. He knows how to mobilize you to fight for his cause. That is what all of this has been about. He wasn't trying to expose the industry, he was trying to break its rules. So he tells his fans the system is evil so they can fight his battles for him. He wanted to ensure he was the one with the final word in North's career, so he claimed they were taking her from him. It was a strategy designed to utilize the fans to back his own negotiations. Look at the timeline of the last few weeks. On March 11th, the announcement for Kanye's April 3rd SoFi Stadium show finally dropped. This is his first massive US homecoming in years. 10 days later, on March 21st, North West appears on stage in Philadelphia with Skywater, standing in front of the very symbol Kanye once warned us about. This isn't a series of random events, it's a sequence. The path back to that stadium was paved by that full-page apology in the Wall Street Journal back in January. That letter wasn't just words, it was a signal that the negotiations were finalized. It's no coincidence that immediately after that public alignment, the doors to Gamma Records opened for both Kanye and North. By partnering with a former UMG executive like Larry Jackson, Kanye didn't just find a new label, he returned to the same institutional structure he spent years trying to dismantle. For years, we watched Kanye fight to keep his children's image independent from the Kardashian machine. He told us they were poking the bear to mold North for their own benefit. But in 2026, the bear has stopped fighting. Instead, he is now the one facilitating the rollout. He's the one standing by as North is positioned in front of these ancient symbols of industry affiliation. Did Kanye realize he couldn't beat them? Or did he decide that the price of his own comeback was the entry of his legacy? We are watching a total shift in behavior, and the timing suggests that North's new role was the missing piece of the deal. The industry didn't just get their artists back, they got the next generation too. The signs are all there, revealed in plain sight. From the Wall Street Journal apology to the Skywater stage in Philly, the terms of this new era have been set. Do you think all of this is connected, or is it just a random coincidence?
Bro, it's definitely not a random coincidence, you get what I'm saying? But we already knew that this was going to happen. Kanye West literally said it time and time again when it came to North West, when it came to how Kim Kardashian was handling the kids. Like, I'm not a parent, but one thing I can say, is that it takes two to raise a kid successfully, right? Like, obviously, you can feed them, you can obviously groom them, you can obviously teach them. But having that balance between a mom and a dad is what's going to be best for someone's development. That's just the bottom line. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going to end this video here. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. And I'm going to catch y'all next one, man. Peace.